guys!
Hey!
Welcome to the adventure. Today we're going to be helping you know how to analyze the road in winter weather conditions. So how to tell when the roads are wet, icy, salty, have snow covered, whether they're dry, just what the road conditions are, especially at nighttime. So let's dive right in.
Where is ice likely to form first? When you have air going over the top of the bridge, air underneath the bridge, likely that the bridges are going to freeze first. On and off ramps or the shoulder of the road.
And then also it's because there's not as much tire traffic. You know, tires are warm on the main travel lane, especially the right lane. It's going to help keep that road a little bit more warm. And that's also why ramps can be more treacherous, because people are not driving on ramps, and when they are, it's slow speeds.
Even if they put salt on the ramps, you still need the heat from the tires, you know, to help with the whole process. And then you've got like wide open spaces like flatlands, Indiana, Ohio, where the wind just blows across the highway with nothing, no brush or
nothing to really protect it.
Yeah,
and places that help protect the roads are going to be where there's barricades, snow barricades. So some of them are formed naturally with slopes from hillsides, from trees, from underbrush, and just the contour of the road. Other kind of snow barricade or wind barricade that you'll see is really, they're kind of out in the far northwest, and those are man-made barricades. If you've never seen them, the first time you're thinking, you're going to be like, why is there random fencing in the field? So those it kind of looks like fence and slat. It's helped to design to that wind and the drifting of the snow to help stop that or slow it down. They also then sometimes in some of those areas also do dirt brims and recontour the side of the roads to help with that as well. So guys, when you're going through those areas, it's less likely to be some black ice and some snow drifting, things like that. But definitely watch, because even when you're driving in mountain areas, when you're going through some of those ravines in the valleys, you know, you come through a ravine between two mountain ridges and there's not as much road brush and things like that covering the highway. It definitely creates a wind tunnel where black ice happens. Let's right into how to tell when there is a black ice or if the roads are wet. One common thing that we do, and these really talk about nighttime when it's really a lot harder to detect what the road conditions are. It's dark, there's not much traffic out on the road, so it's really hard to see what's going on around you other than where your headlights are hitting. So when another vehicle passes you, using their headlights to be looking on the shoulder, because like Scott said, that's one of the first places that black ice is going to form or snow is going to start to collect, because it is not a warmer surface. So when a vehicle passes you, check the shoulder, look for road glare, look for buildup, things like that. That's really going to help. And then after the vehicle passes you, look for overspray. What it's kicking up. Is it kicking up anything in the amount? The more overspray means the roads are wetter. The less overspray means that black ice is more prevalent. So those are two things. And another place that you can check is when you come into a well-lit area, those bridges and overpass, there's a reason they keep them lit, because they are a little bit more dangerous. Before you go into that bridge and things, use those well-lit areas to help identify if you're seeing road glare, reflection, things like that. That means it could be black ice. Another way that you can help identify if the road is wet or dry, things like that, is also watching the cars or trucks change lane. They're in the left lane and they're changing in front of you. Watch the kind of marks that they're leaving when they change lane, especially if the roads are really, really salty. If that left lane is wet and they come over in front of you in that right lane, then sometimes it is going to leave the wet tracks when they come into that salt in the lane in front of you. It can be really confusing on how to figure out at nighttime if the road is snow covered or salt covered, because they are both white. And I actually recently, when we were driving in bad weather, there was a car that thought that the blackness of the road in the left lane meant that it was black top, but unfortunately it was black ice. Thankfully they didn't wreck, but that goes into trying to tell whether they are salt lanes or snow lanes. It's pretty easy and it's pretty simple to think about. When it is having precipitation coming down from the sky, snow tracks are going to leave the ground is going to be white and it's going to leave black tracks from where the cars are traveling. So that's when you know it is snow-covered roads. When it's salt-covered roads and the roads are beginning to dry because of the amount of salt down on the road, the tracks are going to be white and the road is going to be black. Now the black part of the road is most likely going to be wet or a combination of black ice. That's a simple identifier to help you know if it's salt or snow. And again, a lot of these things are identifiers at nighttime. We know a lot of you drive, especially in the wintertime. Just think about it. There's so much more darkness in driving than there is light. And at nighttime, that's a lot of times when major pileups happen and trucks wreck into the median because of black ice.
What different types of salt are there? There's the calcium chloride, and then there's like the rock salt. The calcium chloride, usually they spray as a liquid on the road. And you know, if they do it too far ahead of time, it gets all over the place. We even have to close the vent sometimes because that stuff starts coming in here and it just makes it really hard to breathe. But so they'll pre-treat the road with that, and then once it does start snowing, then they'll usually put the rock salt down. And you know, I think they've got it pretty well figured out in places that aren't too cheap to use it. Just something to keep in mind is the temperature. The temperature is going to play a huge factor. Once the temperature gets down below 10 degrees, neither one of them really work very well. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, keep an eye on that freedometer right there on your dash. It is helpful. It's there for a reason. And now our trucks are so fancy that it sets off a buzzer and tells you that there might be black ice or roads might be slippery. So, you know, it tells you. You don't even really have to think too much. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
We can be on dry roads and it hits 38 degrees and
says,
the truck tells me it's icy conditions.
Yeah. But that's because wind chill is a factor. So make sure you're keeping that in mind, you know, especially when it's windy, things like that, it is going to affect the temperature. Again, just some of those tips that we were talking about. If it's open land, if we're like this week, we're out in Ohio and Indiana, that breeze coming across those flatlands, there is always black ice in those areas. Or if you're out west, head up on I-80, that's why there's always accidents up there, because it just blows across. I hope that is helpful for you guys, and it helps you guys become safer drivers, and it helps you analyze the roads a little bit better when you're out there. So if you ever get too concerned, don't be afraid to pull it over. Remember, it's your license, not theirs, and it's your career. All right, guys, so keep it safe, and until next time, enjoy the adventures. Bye.